We're back on next. What the? Oh, okay. And we're back on next episode of Hero Comics, doing stuff. Basically, after Ray William Johnson, say here about Ray William Johnson quitting equals 3. I decided to talk about some stuff too. You know, but yeah, so I decided to work on my videos. Work on videos of me. I do like my gameplay videos and stuff like that. But Mugen stuff is great, but I want to do videos of more of me. Oh shoot, the copyrighted music. Let's copyrighted music. Okay, it's gone. Okay, anyway, I want to talk about basically certain things about my life, and I'm going to basically not use names and not use names and stuff of certain things in the story, so to keep them not from getting in trouble and for me not to get in trouble with them. So anyway, basically, at this point in my life, I want to talk about jobs. At this point in my life, I work at a place. I work as an urban farmer, and it's a pretty cool job. Hanging out there. It's definitely kind of different than what I normally have done. But most of the time, it's like it's very different. It's during the summer at least. During the winter, it's more stuff I used to do before, which is basically cleaning bathrooms and sweeping floors and stuff like that. Helping lift and carry stuff. Basically that's what it is. We're getting ready for the summer. I mean, what is this? Oh, yeah. And basically, I would talk about, before I got that job, I like that job, but before I got the job, I was a dishwasher for a long time. And basically, I had my first dishwashing job, I kind of had to grow into the job. Because the first dishwashing job was at this one restaurant. One of those kind of sort of diner type restaurants where it's kind of home cooking type stuff. It was cool. It was a pretty cool place. Problem is, that was my first real job. I used to work. Me and my brother used to work for my grandfather, and he basically would have us work hard for however many hours he wanted us to work. We had to lift and carry stuff from one location to another, or mow grass, to get weeds. Things like that, clean the house, clean the parts of this house or whatever. It was definitely work, but it was a different kind of work. It was like, it was definitely not official stuff because he paid us whatever he could. And I was thinking there was one time when we were helping him work on renovating this one house. It was like we worked for say 5 hours. We got $10 once. 5 hours. Another time we got $20. Yeah, it was definitely not that regulated. Also, in a regulated job, they can't spank you. If they do, get out of there. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, anyway. But my brother, to escape from this, finally got, to do something, escape from it, finally got a job at this restaurant. And he hooked me up with a job there too. And it was as the dishwasher. He had become a cook at this time at that restaurant. And he was doing pretty good. And I was at a dishwasher, and I was hanging out with these guys. And they're cool guys. All of them were cool guys. The problem was, it was my first real job, and basically what was happening was it was a very not dark, but very hot, sweaty job, sweaty, grueling job. I'm used to that now, but back then it was a hot, sweaty, grueling job, and I was like, man, this is crazy. And they kept on telling me to speed up, so I kept on speeding up and drinking as much sugar and caffeine as possible. And then they got scared. My mom came over once, saw me running around, really going for it, and was like scared too. She was like, "What the heck's going on here?" And everybody was all scared, and they were like, "What the heck?" Slow down, man, slow down. I was like, no, I'm fast. So I said, I need to slow down, So they did the only thing they could think of to do, which is they used to let us have free sodas and stuff. So they decided to not make it so I could not have free sodas. So to only drink things with no caffeine or sugar in them. So that ticked me off even more. What else? And what else ticked me off was that it was only 2 days a week. It was 2 days a week for like maybe 8 hours a day. It was not that good of pay at all, because it was just me starting out. I didn't realize, I was thinking I deserve something better. Especially also, pastor that I was at my church I was at the time, he died, and he was like young. He was like 30-something years old, and he died. So I was like, oh my gosh, this guy, what if I died? What if I died like he did? And I don't want to. Not have accomplished anything. I'm smart. I can do better than this. At the time. I didn't realize that careers are built by staying in one location for a few years. Day in and day out for a few years, slowly earning their trust And eventually you're like, okay, you know, I can trust this guy with more time because he's done so well in the other things. Like the Bible says, you know, faithful with little, you'll be blessed with much. So basically, that's what it is. So I didn't know this at the time. Okay, so I was thinking, man, I want it all now. I'm not getting it. This is unfair. You know, this is bull crap. I don't need this. So I started messing around and doing whatever I wanted. Basically messing around, and then, you know, I was still doing dishes, but then I would basically play my music. You were allowed to play music, and which is a privilege, a huge privilege. But anyway, I was allowed to play music. My brother had his own music, so he played that. But I was playing mine. I turned out real loud and play it, and it was Nina Sky turned me on, and it was just like, you know, and then Yin Yang Twins. Let's see here, Throw It Up. You know, it was just crazy. It was really loud and stuff, and it was, you know, and it was like, you know, the bosses were like, "And turn it off." It's like, turn that stuff down or turn it off. You know, turn it off. I turn it back on. It was just getting out of control. And eventually, finally, one of the bosses came over. She's like, you know, okay, look, we gave you. I think I know what this is. They're like, oh, I think I know what this is. We gave you a week. You know, you usually work 2 days, but we gave you a whole week to work that one time, okay? A little while ago. You know, you worked last week. This other guy had to go out of town for a week, so we gave you his hours, and that's too much. That's stressing. That must be stressing you out. So instead of that, you know, so why don't you go take a few days off? And just calm down and come back and just hang out with your 2 days, you know, of work, you know, it's that, you know. And I was like, you know, why don't I just quit? It's like, so she's like, it was too much for you. I guess it's too much for you. And I was like, yes. To myself, it was like a bullcrap. Yeah, but then I left. I was like, yeah, thinking, okay. And my brother just happened to be sick that day, so he wasn't there. So it was definitely some stuff. I was thinking, yeah, I stuck it to the man. Yeah, that's what I did. But I didn't realize I was setting myself up for some crazy stuff. You know, when my brother heard about this, he was ticked off. My mom was ticked off, and basically things got worse for me. What happened was, first of all, because I decided to, you know, be all hyper and, you know, disobedient and whatnot, they were thinking maybe it's a condition. You know, so they got like, you know, specialists and things to check me out and, you know, talk me out, check me out and stuff like that, and get special programs and whatnot to, you know, see how good I am, if I have anything or whatever, and, you know, so that was annoying. And then I had to, you know, mom was like, you know, you have to make money, and the only way you can do that now, there's a Minutemen down the street from where we live, so you got to go there. And I was like, okay, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm used to getting up early, no big deal. The issue was at the restaurant. At the restaurant, it was you basically went. You got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, got ready, and got out. And had to be there around 6:30 in the morning because it was like a 30-minute bus ride. So you get out at 6, get the bus and take it up to where the restaurant is. Where the restaurant is. And you work there for a while, and then you can take the bus back or go to the store or whatever, or go to one of the stores or whatever, Southgate or whatever that is, you know. There's places like that, you know, that weren't that far away. So basically, it's like, and I was thinking, that is no big problem. The problem is, at Minutemen, you have to get there around 5. Okay, so I had to get about like 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, got to be there around 5 to get in line, to get over to these guys, to get inside the building. When the guy comes to open the building and let you in, and then hang out there for a while, you know, until they call your name or don't, you know. And for, you know, you gotta do that. You gotta pack all your stuff up and everything, be ready around that, you know, you gotta get before. It was amazing. It was crazy, you know. And it took a long time. It took a long time for me to get any work there, like a few weeks. Eventually, though, the guy's like, but yeah, it was a few weeks, but it was like kind of cool though, because it was like, you know, after a few weeks I was like in there like, I don't know if it's gonna work, man. Just these guys, they're not calling me or anything. One guy canceled, and it's like, oh, he can't come. Oh, well, okay. He's like, hey, you over there, you know, do you want to work at this? Yeah, you. Do you want to work? I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, you know, this guy canceled, so here you go. It's like, for me. I was like, oh. I was like, oh. Yeah, I can feel the power. Yes, yeah, something like that. It was great. And from then on, most of the time, I would get a job at Minutemen. I run around and hang out and everything. Most of the time at this one packing place. And basically, though, yeah, it was nice to have some friends because my mom and my brother were still hating on me for leaving the restaurant. And so she was like, "Yeah, I'll come home to some slightly dirty looks every now and then." So it was annoying. But we go out there, like, oh yeah, you know, I'm doing stuff. I'm doing stuff. You know, this is great. This is great. So I was going to this place, you know, where you basically pack pots, you bake pots and pans on one side, you pack them on the other side, you know, cover them in plastic wrap and things like that, and on the other side. And it was nice. It was very nice. It was kind of cool. It was a little weird, but it was nice. It was nice. There were a great bunch of guys there, but then it's got, you know, things happened where I started to relapse a little bit. I basically was like, okay, now this is it. That's it. You know, I did extra work on Thursday. All right. So, you know, things were going okay. There was like, okay, most of the time it was a packing place. Sometimes it would be, there was like one time it was a Star, what was it? It was some sort of place where you check on car bumpers. Okay, and if there's like the little, they call it stardust. There's a little flecks of something of metal inside those that's impurities, so they can be bad. So they call that stardust. So you basically put it in the stardust pile. You know, the ones that are deformed, put it in the deformed pile. And it was, I did that like once, I think, and it was not bad. It was not bad. Pretty much similar. It's the same as the other place inside a dingy, dank, dark building. You know, kind of yeah. But you know, it was kind of nice to hang out with these guys and, you know, listen to what they got to say, their different stories about different things, including going to prison and things like that. But it was kind of cool. There were a lot of cool guys there. But you know, then there was a job where I actually was on this giant conveyor belt. It was like a construction conveyor belt that had like a whole truck, you know, 18-wheeler truck trailer as its engine. Okay, the engine was that big, and it was like this huge thing flying all over, you know, that basically would sift rocks. You know, you throw rocks into this thing, and it would sift them, and you know, all kind of stuff, and then throw it out. I was put in charge of getting all these rocks with little wires in it out of there, and just pick them out, and things like that. It was so great. It was so great. But then there was like one time where it's like, okay. There was like one time where I got stuck. And I only got that job one day, but still, there was a time when I got stuck, and it was like, and they were like, people were trying to jump on it, and then like they asked me the craziest question ever: how much do you weigh? And I was like 230, 240. It was like, oh, all right, good. All right, now hang off this thing 20 feet, 100 feet in the air, or something like that. Hang off this one part 100 feet in the air with one hand. Put 1 foot on the conveyor belt, and then, you know, when I give you the signal, jump up and down like this. You know, jump up and down like this. Okay, you're hanging off, you know, but you're trying to, you know, mess the propeller, the conveyor belt thing, make it jump so that it loosens whatever is clogging up that part, you know. And I was like, oh crap, okay, I'm gonna try it. But then they got a 300-pound guy, so I didn't have to do it. So I was like, yeah, cool, no problem. So that was kind of cool to hang out and see different things. But most of the time, it was the place where you make pots and pans and pack them up and stuff. And that eventually there was like a Thursday where I was so annoyed with this because I did extra work. You know, I made more boxes than I should have, and it was like you know, no one really cares, man. This is it's a restaurant all over again. No one really cares when I do. And so I was like thinking, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go find another job, you know. So on that Friday, I pretended I was going to go to the place to Minutemen and packed everything up, you know, and had my lunch and everything like in a nice bag and stuff. And I went there and snuck past there, and you know, there was like a guy there that was kind of a friend. He was like, "Hey man, look, I can't wait to work with you today." He's like, "Hey, yeah, sure." Yeah. You know, I walked off, and then I was like hanging out at went to this one place that was like a plumbing place, and I was like, "Hey, you have any jobs?" He's like, "Oh, sure. Do you have any plumbing experience?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Oh, you need plumbing experience?" I was like, "Oh, okay." Went to another place. "Hey, do you have a job?" Like, "Sure." "Do you have any driving experience?" No, don't have any driving experience. So I was like, "Oh, yeah, I work here." And I was like, you know what? Why am I wasting my time here? Where I can go to some place that, you know, there's a lot of jobs. There's a lot of places that need work, you know. Southgate. So Southgate, I went to Southgate. Southgate is basically a huge plaza. There's like it's like right next to a small, pretty okay sized bus station, you know. And basically what happens is it's you get off off the bus because the bus turns around. There's like a turnaround place where the bus can drive up. Okay, so let's say this part here is like a section of Southgate. There's basically a bus. The bus station is like here. It's a square here. Now buses go up this road, turn around, all right, and they park in front of the building. There's a building right here. This is the street where the bus turns right there. There's like an awning. There's like a cover. There's an awning over that, so people can like hang out when they're in the rain. They can hang out in there. just be out in there, you know, it's like that. But they can be in the building and just hang out in there. And unfortunately, there is no public restroom in there, which is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. But they don't have a public restroom, so it's basically like, oh yeah, I can wait for the bus. How about up and down one leg, find a place. But the cool thing is there are other places around. Okay, so after the bus station, there's like a PetSmart, or there was. There's a rent center. You know, you walk down the thing. There's this huge. Basically, they got this huge awning going all the way. You know, you got this awning thing going all across, all the way down. Just you know, zigzagging basically. All the way down, up and down Southgate, the Southgate Plaza. Basically, it's huge. It's wonderful. And basically, you walk through there. You can walk underneath there. You know, walk underneath there. Turn, walk this way, turn, walk this way, turn, walk this way. Yeah, it keeps going and going and going for a long time. It's great. And so basically, go past PetSmart, the Rent Center. You go over this way. There's like maybe a convenience store, a daycare, some other thing. Then you walk this way. There's like a bank. There's like a Family Dollar. Then there's like a Giant Eagle. Walk past that. You go this way. You're walking past the Giant Eagle. Eventually, you get past the Giant Eagle. You get over to like a Fashion Bug. You get to you know, Lane Bryant. You get you get all kinds of stuff there. And, you keep going and going. A dollar store. You keep walking, and so I was like checking out everybody. I was like throwing stuff out there, and there was like one Giant Eagle. Where I went to the Giant Eagle, I try to find places with the application. There was a Giant Eagle, so I went to the Giant Eagle. I was like, okay, maybe they can use cashiers. Went in there, saw a black lady, in there. She looked like my mom. I thought it was my mom. I was like, oh shoot, ran out there. And I saw her, looking at her again, like, that's not my mom. You know. I figured, away from here, man. That could have been, that would have been bad. I could have been in huge trouble for that. So I decided that they used to have these things called circulators, which are basically small little buses. They were the little RTA buses. They would basically take you all around there. You don't have to walk. You don't have to, do the thing where you zigzag and go over here and go over there. You can just get in on a bus and they'll drive you all the way over there. They'll drive you all the way across there and then go to a mall. Randall Mall. They'll take you all the way to Randall Mall, across underneath these bridges and stuff. It's really cool. So I decided to go to Randall Mall because it's a mall, There are probably plenty of jobs there. Probably not anymore. But anyway, still, probably plenty of jobs there. You can just go there and hang out and be great. So I went over there. Went over to Randall Mall. Found a bunch of applications, put in a bunch of applications. Even got a interview at Kohl's, and it was awesome. It was great. Now, I tried to manage Jonathan Theater, but they were out of applications, so I was like, oh well, let's go. So I kept on doing that, and after a while, I was eating my lunch, and it was like, oh man, this is hard work. It is hard work. I want to go home now. So I was thinking, I'm cool. I'm in the clear. Got my application sit in. Never really heard back from those guys, but still got the application sit in, stuck it to the man again, and then went home. Right, went to sleep. Took a rest. I was like, oh, I'm tired, so I went to rest, took a rest, and then turns out I got home before my brother, and brother did. So they got home and saw me there. They knew something was wrong. I gave a full confession. I was supposed to give a full confession, and got in big trouble for that. And basically, it's like, other than having to choose, letting my brother get to choose pizza, what pizza we wanted. He got this one that was like had Canadian bacon on it. It was weird. Sad day. But anyway, anyway though, that was not the only problem though. Now I was used to the dirty looks. I was used to them because I was having them. I was already being given those annoying those looks of annoyance. So I was like, no big deal for that. But then it was like not only was the pizza the issue, but there was another issue, a big huge issue, something that actually mattered money wise. At Minutemen, or at least what I was doing, you could get about $35 a day. So that was kind of cool because you could get $35 and you could go to a convenience store, get a little ice cream or get a soda or some little snack, eat that on the way home, whatever. Then we put it in a jar, so it add up, and I've been doing this for a few weeks at the time, so it was adding up really nice. So I was like, you know what, fine, this is only Friday. I'll let go, get rid of, I'll just sacrifice the $30-something to get a way higher paying job that makes it so I can get hundreds, thousands of dollars, And so that's what I did. I was thinking, no problem. The next day, I'll have 2 days to recuperate from it, Then on Monday, I'll come back and I'll do better. I'll come back, I'll go to Minutemen, I'll work, I'll get my money, and my mom and my brother will be happy, and that's fine. It's no big deal. Problem was, a deal came through. Something happened. Basically, before that fateful Friday, a lady who looks kind of like Sarah Jones but skinnier, she was saying, "Hey, I have these." She's from this organization called SAW, Solutions at Work, and she's like, "Hey, I know a crew of guys who could use someone, use someone like you, Yeah, do you like cutting, you like cutting grass? I'm like, and I was thinking, lawn cutting, like one of those little kid things, where it's like you just running around cutting grass. I'm like, okay, sure. I was like, yeah, whatever, sure, no problem. So it's like, okay, so I'll tell them you're interested about it. And then I left. I was like, I didn't think much about it. That Friday night or Saturday or Sunday or whatever, we got a call. They want me. They wanted me. They were going to take. They wanted me to come in that Monday and start work. And get ready to work. So which would mean I would get a better high-paying job, but would not get paid for 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks of nothing. Okay, so that means I was in so much trouble, huge trouble. Just oh my goodness. Worst trouble ever. Just oh my goodness. Worse than that time when I was 7 and crawled underneath. I was at a wedding. At a wedding. My relatives were getting married, and I crawled underneath the pews. All right, thinking I was all cool. Crawled underneath. It was army crawling underneath the pews to get because I needed to give my grandmother her purse. So I decided to just army crawl underneath there for some stupid reason. And my dad caught me. It was like out of there. It's like put me onto a pew. It's like it was like I did. Worse than that. Worse than that because it involves money. So it was so bad. Eventually things got smoothed over a bit, and I realized I need to mess around and not do that. I'm not messing around like that. So I worked at the saw for a while and cut grass, and it turns out it was not just like, oh yeah, we're little kids, Mister, hey, we'll cut your lawn for you, Mister, for $5. No. These are professional grounds maintenance guys. So they had things that were like dune buggies with that cut grass. They had all kinds of cool stuff, man. It was great. It was great. It was wonderful. The issue was, of course, there were people that were a little bit mentally challenged, not just retarded. Not mentally challenged can mean many different things. Okay, in their case, it was mostly was like autism or Down syndrome, mostly. So it was basically like you had one guy who had autism, very severe autism. So basically, he was bouncing off the walls. If it rained, he would bounce off. He would be bouncing off the walls because he liked the sound of it. So he liked the sound. He was like, And also he's very, and also he had this weird thing, where if either you're his best friend or your worst enemy. So things could get really hairy really quick if you weren't careful with him. That was the issue. With another guy, he had Down syndrome, but he was kind of sheltered. So basically, he kind of was like a kid, But he was mostly an okay guy. He was mostly an okay guy. And there was another guy who had Down syndrome, and he probably some sort of dwarfism too. But he was an okay guy too. Of course, as with the bit of a issue with his limbs, he was having trouble. It was harder for him to do things. So it was like I had to help him out every now and then. And let's see here. Oh, and there was like another guy. There was like two guys. One guy three guys. One guy who was mostly a normal guy. Seemed like just a fine guy, except for he had huge anger issues. He get really mad at things. Like he get really mad if his weed whacker didn't work. He'd get really mad about that. He's very gangster, very gangster. And it would be like there was one time where me and the guy with Down syndrome that didn't have the dwarfism or whatever. When we were trying to deal with this heavy load, and I was like, hey, Dave, man, come on, like help me out here. And he's like afraid. I was like, I was trying to lift this heavy load. It was like this, it was like dirt, a lot of dirt, and I needed his help. And I was like, Dave, help me, Dave, help me. And then I was like, Jimmy, help me. And it's like Jimmy's like, it's like, come on. And days later, it was like, I didn't think I would be able to do anything. I was like, well, yeah, by yourself, man. I could have helped, but I would have been there to help you. Sometimes, it's like a little harder for some people to understand that sometimes. But it was like, still, I was like, well. But he had a bunch of anger issues with that, and eventually he had to leave because it was getting so angry. Then there was another guy who basically just was doing cleaning inside houses, but then tried to do the grounds maintenance, but couldn't quite handle it. So then came Paul. Now Paul, he's a cool guy. He's a cool guy, but he was very young, and he may have been had some sort of learning disability, but he seemed mostly normal. But he was very young. He was like 15, 16 years old. And most of us were like, mid-20s. Early to mid-20s. Okay. And so basically, the guy, he fell for the old trap of going for what's known as, how much time we got? Okay, now, 30-minute show. he would fail for the old trap of messing around, being like, you know, trying to get up as high as you can, get in with the monkey mucks, you know, get as high as you can, you know, and basically, you know, as in high level, as in status wise. And the best way to do that is to get the front seat of the truck, because basically what we did was we would travel in this truck that could fit 6 people in it. And so what happened is it'd be like, okay, you know, everybody get in, and the boss sits on the is driving, of course. You know, Mr. Ken, he's awesome. I love it. You know, I like you, Mr. Ken. You were awesome. You were amazing. You're wonderful. You're amazing. You're wonderful. Mr. Ken, hanging out, and he's a cool guy. He was hanging out, and basically, he would you know, everyone wanted to sit next to him. So basically, you sit next to him, use his mower, because his mower was the dune buggy that could cut grass. You know, everyone else's mowers were basically like, one was basically a super sized, you know, was like sort of a dune buggy, but it was more like with no seat. It was like something that you had to follow around or hold on to. The second, there was one that was the original push mower, but there was one that was the kind. The next step up from that is this kind, like they call it a 42. It's a 42 because it's 42 inches, and 42-inch blades or whatever. And basically, it's like a dune buggy kind of, more like a it's like, yeah, but basically you have these things that you can hold on to it, and you know, you move it around and stuff like that, because this is definitely a huge thing. And then a 52, no, 48, it was a 48, then a 52, and then a 61 or whatever, or a 61 or something like that, and that was the dune buggy, the 61. The 52 was like a chariot, like a Roman chariot. You basically had a little platform with wheels on it, and you sat behind that, with that, you know, and you know, the guy with autism, you know, liked, you know, was usually got that one, but then he would try to get the other one, you know, the 52, the 40, the big one, the dune buggy one, and I would be like, okay, no big deal. I'm not trying to cause any problems. I'm not trying to cause, especially with him, because he would turn on you if he felt that you were trying to be, you know, be mean. He would turn on you. So that was the issue with him. He was definitely the source of the most issues, I'd say. So basically, one day, Paul, because he was like young and wanted to be, you know, seen as a big man, tried to take the front seat from the dude with the autism. And the next day, I unfortunately was not there that day. So the next day I came over and I see this guy. You see these guys. They usually hung out sort of close together on the bus while they were doing. You see him sitting far away, and I was like, and looking all sad, and Paul's looking all sad. I was like, what happened? You know, I was like, Paul, what happened? He's like, you know, someone's just hit me. I was like, what? Like, I tried to take the front seat, and he hit me. I was like, oh, you know, I was like, oh man, I'm sorry about it, man. You can't do that though. So I'm like, oh, I'm not trying to get hit. I'm not trying to get hit. I'm from the front seat. I'm not going to fight with that. So it was definitely a very interesting job, you know. You know, but it was a lot of fun, and it paid pretty well. You know, and it was nice to be able to help out in any way I could with anyone who needed help. So, but eventually I had to move. My brother, I was living with my brother at the time. Well, first I was living with my brother and my mother, but then my mother moved to this little town called Newton Falls, and we were basically, she was like, okay, you know, I'm going to move to this town because there's this job for me out there. Eventually that job, unfortunately, decided to close up shop, but at least she got a better one, so there you go. Out there, anyway though. She went out there, and we had moved out of the house we used to live in when I was going to Midman, because that place was evil. It was a horrible place that was falling apart, and, you know, everything was, you know, the gas bill, water bill, light bill, astronomical in that place. It was not good. It was not good at all. You know, I think we're getting close to paying it off now, but oh my goodness, it was thousands of dollars each. It was terrible. But anyway, we moved from there to this other place, which was better. And unfortunately, I got robbed at gunpoint at that place. You know, I didn't even realize it. You know, which was interesting. I didn't even realize it was being robbed. I was like, you know, this guy just ran. I was like walking out there with the headphones on, just hanging out, and, you know, out of the house with the headphones on, and I walked past these. You know, we have these huge hedges in my house, and he's like, you know, came over there, I was like, get on your knees. I'm like, okay, got on my knees. Like, I'll get up, you know. And of course, if anything crazy had happened when he said, get on your knees, then I would have known something's wrong here, you know, and it immediately started headbutting the weakest area I could find on him. You know, no problem. It would have been a fight. But anyway, but no. He's like, get on your knees. Like, okay, whatever, you know, get up. I was thinking it was some sort of initiation, you know, like neighborhood initiation. You know, that's what I was thinking. So I was like, okay, no, I'm game. That makes us friends, you know, okay, cool, no problem. Yeah. You know, all right, get up. All right, give me your money, give me your wallet, give me your stuff. I was like, okay. I had like this little gun. I mean, come on, man. Like, people just died, man. Give me your stuff. And this is a big guy with like, big guy but pretty young. You know, like, big black dude, pretty young though. But yeah, he's like, oh, people just died, man. Hurry up, hurry up. And he's holding this thing, and it looks like a gray piece of Lego piece or something. And I'm like, oh, whatever. You know, like I didn't know it was a gun. It was a gun. I didn't know it was a gun. But I was like, okay, no problem, no problem. Here, yeah, check it out. See, nothing in there. And it's like, oh, dang it. You know, I was like, nothing in there. Like, give me your headphone. Yeah, he's like, hey, I had stuff like this. Yeah, not this much. I had like just a tape recorder in my tape player. Like wait, where's my tape player? What tape player? Yeah, I had something like this. I had something like this in here. I had something like this in there. And I was like, in a little pouch, and little thing, like sort of like this. I had this inside here, and I was listening to a tape in there. And he's like, hey, give me your tape player, give me that. And I was like, okay, give me the other stuff, give me that. Yeah, here you go. And then it's like, oh, what's in your backpack? I was like, well, just books and stuff for school. And he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And I was like, and he's like holding it, puts his gun away. He's holding it like this. He's holding it, holding a bunch of stuff. He's like holding it like that. He's like holding it, and he's like, all right, yeah, don't follow me. Ran off, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what just happened here? And then I was like, Simpsons, where that one guy with the who has that voice, the young dude voice, who's like, still changing. He's like, I don't think he's coming back. Like, no, he's not. I was like, I think I just was robbed. Oh my gosh. So I called the police. They looked around for him. They couldn't find him. And I was like, yeah, I don't like this. This is terrible. But it wasn't that bad of a situation. There's this girl at church. The church I went to, where the pastor died, where the pastor had died, and she was all set. She was all freaked out about it. She was like, he had a gun to his head. They took his stuff. He had a gun to his head. Like, no. I was like, no. I had to tell her. No, I had it out. He had it out. I didn't even know it was a gun. And halfway he put the gun away and was carrying stuff. Put the gun away to carry all the stuff I gave him. So it wasn't that bad of a situation. Girl, it's okay. It's cool. She's like, oh, okay. So I helped her feel better. That was nice. If she was, never mind. We'll keep it clean. Anyway, so yeah, she's very cute. Hi, if you're watching. Anyway, so then she, so I was like a little ticked off about that, but it was like, whatever, started working on different things and different weapons and whatnot. It was weird, but anyway. We were living in that place, went to saw, hung out, and I was making sure I was not quitting. I was making sure to stay there and do my best, and just hour-long show. Do my best and do whatever I need to do, to do that. And it was great. It was great. Anyway, I'll come back on part 2 because I'll stick with 30-minute segments. No big deal. So I'll see you on part 2.